Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of A Talk with the Elementals. Today's subject has to do with what is directly behind me, this large fig tree that is on Jim's property. We will go inside of this tree, well, not in the tree, but under the tree, and do the channeling with a little grandpa named Devan who wanted to talk. His family lives underneath this tree on this property, which was actually slightly unexpected. When you see the inside of this tree, you will know what I'm talking about, that there has got to be somebody living under this and maintaining this size of a fig tree that's not supposed to get this big here. So we know this tree had help by the elementals. So we'll go to it. And this is what the tree looks like. I'll arc the camera back. See how massive this tree actually is. This shows how big this fig tree is. All right, now we will go inside. Okay, everybody, this may be a little bumpy trying to get in here with this tripod, but I'll show you how we get in here. All right, you see back in here. All right, I'm gonna move branches. All right, I gotta move under here. It's hard to get this tripod under here with it. Okay, please get that out of there. Thank you. All right, tree's got it again. There we go. All right.
Take a look at the tree.
Okay, put the tripod down. You're gonna hit the tree here. Oh, you're bending one of its branches back right here.
It's okay.
Okay. It goes up like this, and that's how massive the inside of this tree is. If you look up in there, you can definitely tell somebody's been taking care of this, because Jim hasn't been able to. You can see all the figs and everything up in here. Figs are pretty good too.
Probably the biggest fig tree I have ever seen. I actually have never seen anything like this before.
I've never actually seen a fig tree before, so this is actually pretty cool. All right, everybody, we got the camera situated in here, and I can actually see a lot of movement in here elementally wise. I can feel the Dryadic consciousness in here, and I can feel a lot of beings in this old tree. This is an extremely old fig tree, and I thought this was a perfect spot for this. And Devan, the grandpa, is sitting on a stump, not the stump, but the root, this very massive root that's coming up through here. And also lots of grandpa that are underground, and various other beings that are in here. I'm thinking there are some kind of tree fae or somebody in here. So let's see here. Now, there's flying ones in here that look like Surbom. That's her sister's guide. There's several of them in here. There's several different kinds in here that are maintaining the fruits. I see them touching the fruits. And even though there's a bunch of them rotten ones that literally ground in here, that's fine. All right, let's see. Devan, did you want to say something? Okay. Oh, you want to talk about maintaining the tree? Okay. That's all right. That's cool. I know. I'm giving him a minute. Devan's a little child, by the way. Very much like Raisin. Hello? Devan is my name. spelled very much like your name, Stephen, with a V. I'm here to talk about this tree and why it is so important to honor these old things. One, the food it gives is free. No paying for food, especially with one this old. Humans agreed long ago to maintain and help maintain these wondrous and beautiful things, but have forgotten as such in this day. The Dryadic consciousness, as you know them, maintains these trees, as do we, as do other gnome, fairy, and fae types, and elemental types, such as ant people and the like sometimes. Leprechauns too. They actually enjoy maintaining beautiful things like this. This tree is a living edifice, you would say, for the dryads, but can also speak on its own, given the age. The age of this tree is far greater than what its rings say. This tree will always be protected by us, the Grimpa species, as you know us as, the Dryadic consciousness, and the various other types I mentioned. The food it gives is important, and the air it gives is important, but the energy that it gives is also equally as important. You see, enough of these old trees together that create a forest will also repel darkness. You always hear of dark tales in woods. That is quite rare. And if people would look closer into those tales, some are what you know of as propaganda. Others were mistold because some of the trees had already died. And this is how some of these entities emerged, was from the dying and decay. In this sacred forests, you would call them, emerged from these magnificent trees and provided an energy that is most beneficial in color and sound and light and all energetic purposes. This is why cities never allow certain trees to grow very large. They make excuses that they will harm people and such, and vehicles and homes, when in fact, the older the tree is, the better it is at repelling darkness. This is why some trees were given diseases, such as the thing you know of as Dutch elm's disease, because these trees are so good at blocking signals and repelling darkness. From this point, apologies are given for distractions heard. This is because this message is meant to get out, and the others out there do not wish it. This is why I will keep it brief, but we can open up to questions.
So thank you, Stephen, for bringing us in here. We actually didn't discover this, although we've been here for a week, and we were admiring the outside of the tree. We actually didn't discover the unbelievable inside and really seeing this tree until yesterday, and that's when we actually met you and the family and the beings around, which kind of took even Chris by surprise, because instead of being out in the open, it really seems to be that a lot of you guys really just like to hang out, it seems, close to in here. So you just mentioned something that absolutely fascinates me, that this tree is so ancient that it actually has its own consciousness, if I heard you correctly, separate from the Dryadic consciousness. So I am actually curious if the tree itself would like to say anything.
Yes, indeed. This particular one is so old, it does indeed have its own consciousness. Channeling in this fashion will be limited, and with the Dryad's help, because it is more or less like, you would say, a baby or infant consciousness that is forming in this. Now, if someone were to damage this tree, which is not going to take place, but if this took place, this baby would move to a different edifice, possibly a choice of stone or plant, very much like your Kinoe consciousness in its fashion, in his fashion. So, limited contact. The English may not be superb, but we will all filter for this. Ooh, well, this is weird. This is only a partial channeling. He's saying this is a masculine tree. I'm taking it, a male consciousness, even though there is fruit. Yes? What we would call masculine and feminine, but prefers a he designation. No, Isaac, a male tree does not have nipples. Thank you. All right. God dang it. All right. The tree is saying, ignore him. Why is he calling Isaac a nipple head? Okay. Okay. That he's only being able to repeat words he's hearing. Okay. The English is very broken. It's more or less in quantum language. Be careful of those elements that wish to do harm, as was foreseen outside now. We saw a cloaked figure out by one of the trailers out here, is what this tree is referring to. Elven kind are good, yes? Be leery and aware of alliances made in darkness, friendships made in cold, sterile rooms, I believe is the word. Coldness of heart begots evil intentions. Hooded figures in the night wander these lands. Rarity, a rarity. Be leery of dark fields under moonlight. We shield this along with dryads. The darkness of figures are unimportant. We seek open hearts. I seek an open heart. We all love humans, even those without open hearts. We do not seek vengeance of nature like some think. We merely move from one area to the next. Some consciousnesses are more like you and seek vengeance for lost nature territories. This is not our way. Remember, none of the species you have seen are omnipotent. more or less like you in temperament. Some just like you in evolutionary scale. I am learning more words now. This is the first anyone has spoken to me. None have seen me here. Do not fear my removal. I will never be gone. For I am forever, as are you. I am tapped into a well of eternal water maintained by the Grimpa and other fairy kind, such as Fae, like dear Sir Baum. Others hide in the depths of my leaves now and watch you. Wonder how this is possible. We, the Dryads, and I, this tree, know why this is possible. This proves our and my point about non-omnipotence. As I have said, be leery of cloaked figures in the moonlight. Even trees and tree-like figures that bathe in the moonlight. You would call these Halloween-y type figures? They bathe in the moon. They were born of the moon. An artificial, constructual behavior, not of us. Interestingly enough. There was once an old moon in your skies, which was destroyed and was taken back by the construct when the bad demons of the moonlight appeared. The earth was better then, but now it will be again. I must respect the limitations of speech and retract my words now. Blessings to you humans, for you must endure for a short time longer the cloaked ones of the moonlight. This is not a forever ince, but a temporary state of being. Your power is greater. Remember this. Blessings. Now you can see energy veins very much like a human energy core running up through these this particular tree. This tree is a wee bit different than trees you see in neighborhoods, regular neighborhoods. Like any of these ripples here, like these knots and such. You see like these, no, Isaac, they are not nipples. All right. You see energy like swirls that go in multiple directions. It's clockwise and counterclockwise. It's both. It's like the energy is being redirected from a branch that's been cut or fallen off. And you almost expect to see like monkeys and other little primates and stuff up in these trees, because that's how dense this is.
So Devin made a statement that made me think there could be some certain parameters that allow for a tree to go ahead and take a sentient consciousness rather than just being a part of the overall dryadic consciousness. So I am curious if there's someone that wants to speak on that, because you know, for a while there we were more thinking that it was just an overall dryadic consciousness, not individual ones.
Yeah, the dryads made it seem like they were in charge of all of that, all trees everywhere, but I believe they were waiting for us to run into an independent consciousness. Yes, Devin? Oh, you want to say something? Okay. Oh, you want to say something to this? Okay. You are correct. The dryads did not inform of this, because this was supposed to be discovered by you and seen here today. All trees everywhere, yes, are governed by dryads and the dryadic consciousness, but the way an independent one forms is this. Say you have a being in a crystal skull such as Isaac or Isabella or Kinoe that are in two places at once. This is an energetic being that can inhabit the ground and the tree within it. This is why this person here saw veins and arteries and energy running through this tree. This is a special tree. Some would call them holy when they get to this stage. Natives and other religions alike have seen this effect. Think of this as an edifice, like a crystal or a stone. The dryads are coupled with it, of course, but then invite in a much more independent energy infant to actually become that tree. Not all trees have this. All trees have the dryads. Why, you ask, some and not others? Why some crystals have only the dryads and other source energies and not consciousnesses? It is the same, and always has been. These consciousnesses can move, but they prefer to stay as they are. We tend to these trees more so because they emit a stronger energy, keeping a place safe and sound, as you would say. That hooded being would never have been able to enter this sanctuary. The reason being, there are so many beings inside this tree. It is a combination of neutrality and safety. All neutrality is respected here, but darkness is not allowed in. There is a slight difference between this and safe zones and neutral zones. These tree entities, you would call them, do not allow these hooded figures near, whereas in neutral zones, they are allowed to walk freely, just not scan or attack people. This is the difference. This is a third type of zone you are unfamiliar with. I believe that answers the question.
Yes, thank you. So, again, it reminds me of some of the very large trees that people have shown in pictures in the states of like Georgia or South Carolina or whatever, with these just enormous, magnificent trees with very huge canopies. Some of the canopies may not be literally touching all to the ground like this one. So I am just making an assumption that those trees potentially may have consciousness and that kind of safe zone area as well. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. Ones with consciousnesses can indeed cluster, just exactly like this. They choose this to create a wall of energy, very much like the dryads do. But it's more or less like a circle of friends, you would say, that were near to you at the time. This is happening more and more. The more of these elemental consciousnesses, you would say, start taking over trees as their edifices. This will continue to spread until they are more at one with the dryads, you would say, or you would perceive as such, but they would still be their own individual personalities and people, you would say. They are not of any of the known elemental types that you know of currently. They are indeed an energy base that is similar to your own energy core, but different. This proves that people can coexist with nature because you and nature are one and the same.
So I want to ask a question about the movement of elementals into areas that maybe they were, I'm going to just say shoot away because I don't know any other word, where they were potentially shoot away from. And I bring this up, and Chris, I know you're listening as well, because of Samuel. So Samuel comes to my mind. Samuel went and wanted to be within the lands of a part of Nebraska and has asked us as we run across beings like him to hook Samuel back up with them so that they can talk, because they are supposed to be, it sounds like, the front lines of clearing places. And then I'm going to, again, make an assumption, and maybe you can talk about this. These others come in, and then maybe beings then are free to start inhabiting some of these old trees. And this is kind of coming to my mind as the movement of bringing the elementals back into some of these areas. So I'm just curious, can you guys comment on that?
Yes, indeed. The one you know of is Samuel, even though his elemental type is foreign to these lands, it is of the same job description, you would say. Because these elemental types do indeed inhabit these old trees in areas of land that either need cleansing or they wish to keep cleansed from beings that wish to sully and, as you would say, desanctify the area. I believe the term is Samuel's type of elemental is more ground based, dirt and grass based, very much like a naiadic consciousness would be the essence of a field or a lake. They become this very much like his kind becomes a tree and the essence of a tree.
So there is a collective effort then. I mean, there has to be like partnerships then where all of you guys work together in your specialties to be able to go in, and then the human component seems to me to be where humans may notice that an area seems to be devoid of the elementals, declares a place neutral, asks the elementals to come in, and this somehow then that acknowledgement and asking allows for some of this movement to begin. Is that correct?
Yes. These areas that are devoid of life, very much as your Yuma is indeed one of these places that these particular two types of elementals would do the most good. Even in a cactus plant in your deserts, they can accomplish this goal. The water would act as a transmitter for other life to emerge. In this, they can indeed transform a deadened area you would call a desert moonscape into a lush garden of Eden, you would say. Your Yuma area will eventually become this paradise as it was so very, very long ago, before the wars began, as I'm told. Then it became a deadened moonscape for owl witches and shape-shifting entities you refer to as skinwalkers. That is all that is out there, along with jinn and other various reptile entities. This is changing now, since of your neutrality declaration there. This also goes for your Mojave Desert. Deadened areas can be transformed and given life by these elementals. This is their purpose on your world. You see outside of this tree zone here, you see the dirt that's all around outside. Eventually, this area will be reclaimed by your nature code, and the one I am in, of course, and become that type of paradise. You see, in time, there will be no more deserts or no more ice. Your world will be a tropical paradise in time. Everything will be able to grow in every single temperate zone. No more too dry or too wet. This will take some time, however, but this is the beginnings of this process.
So thank you. And I can't stress enough the fact that many people, I think, wonder, what Chris and I are feeling. And we've tried to explain it, but I'm just going to be a little more simplistic. So, Devin is right that outside of this tree is more of a little bit of a commercial setup area. The dirt here is very sandy. Again, this is part of the breadbasket, but if you looked around, literally right around this tree, it just happens to be a area that's kind of sandy, doesn't have a lot of different flowers or growth or anything like that. So, there wasn't much felt or seen. And so you're walking around going, okay, but you're not having a lot of feeling sensation. You come in under this tree and it's just like this, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's like you want to pull out your lawn chairs, bring them under here and just sit. It's very cool, it's very comfortable, but there's a pleasantness feeling. So I can't stress enough to people that you may think, oh, I can't feel things or this, that, but it's not true. You go through some of these areas and you literally don't feel anything. It's just like being in a neutral state in a sense. You're just not feeling anything. Let that be a clue to you that maybe that is a signal that other things aren't around. Go ahead, if you're feeling like that, declare a place neutral and just ask the elementals in. And then you may get around other things where you are just sensing a sense of just joy. You'd like to hang out there. Those are actually some of the feelings that everyone has, but they don't know how to necessarily apply those feelings to the energetic side. So I am telling you that there is a relationship and that you can encourage things in your areas and teach the children and whatever based upon these little sensations that you do have on a day-to-day basis. So I guess I'm just trying to encourage people to please think about this and what harm is it going to do to, if you notice something, to ask for neutrality and to ask for this benevolence and elementals to come in. It won't hurt a thing. It may just help a lot. So with that, I know I just gave a little dissertation. Any last comments with that, and any last words? What do you guys want to tell everyone out there?
In this, I've said that these beautiful things need your appreciation, need your, I want to say, attention, but yet the earth can indeed maintain itself, except in areas where humans must declare neutrality and temple spaces and safety spaces. Yes, the dryads can do this. Yes, other elementals like myself can do this. But it is up to humans to join in the fun, you would say. Declare your area as neutral and keep any old trees there. We know your city structures and cityscapes don't allow for these things because of the control of the archontic forces. Just know this is temporary. And know that your job ahead, after those beings are gone, is not so arduous as you would think. Just allow nature to do its thing. And you allow nature to just be around you, and you be in nature. Thank you.
Thank you.
That would be Jim's compressor that you're hearing now. So, sorry about all the noise, but can't be helped here. So this was actually very, very informative. Thank you all for watching another installment of a talk with the elementals. Bye-bye, everybody.